วันนี้มีประชาธิปไตยมาขายพ่อแม่พี่น้องประชาชนที่เดินมาไปมาสัญจรอยู่ตรงนี้ที่จตุจักรครับ
Welcome to Talking Politics. My guest today is Kavi Chongkittavorn, a veteran journalist and an expert on regional affairs, who will give us his views on the upcoming elections in Thailand. Kavi, thank you very much for joining us. As a veteran journalist, you have covered both Thailand and the region extensively for years now. And certainly you have watched Thai politics both up close and from regional perspectives. So what is your personal take on the upcoming election? Because many people believe that the upcoming election will be a turning point, a crucial turning point for Thailand. But of course, there are others who don't have much faith in it and don't believe that it will bring about any significant change. So what is your take?
Well, I'm optimist. I think that the upcoming elections will path a new way for Thailand. You know, we have been in this kind of a doomsday scenario for too long. I think it's about time. You know, you remember Thailand was one of the example of democracy, you know, in the past. I think
in the past, long past.
Yes, but I think there's a new sort of feelings among the new generations that it's the time, you know, for new rejuvenation of Thailand.
So what are some of the factors that make you so optimistic? Besides the presence of a new generation of politicians competing in the election?
Oh, number one, if you notice that most of the political parties, they all have their own deliverable, they call it deliverable platform, which in the past not the case. So I was pretty happy to see that, you know, just counting roughly, there are more than 300 promises, mainly populist pledge and messaging for the Thai people. In a way, it's good, you know. They all political party want to serve the mass, but of course, you must have a lot of money along the way.
No, but the biggest irony for me is that I have talked to many people, and almost every single one of them admit that they still have no ideas whom to vote for or which party to vote for, despite the fact that we have as many as 6,600 candidates running in the election, plus another 63 candidates for prime minister, and yet many people still believe that they have no idea whom to vote for.
Well, I think there are three types of voter. Number one, the young voters. They know exactly.
Okay.
They know the liberal, the progressive one. They will come out and say that I will vote for the young party. Then the second group is the so-called like our generation, the baby boomer. They want to pick the party that have stable policy that look toward the future, that focus on the continued progress. And then there is the kind of the Thai called วัยทอง หรือผู้สูงวัย the senior citizen. Thailand senior citizen about 70 over.
Okay.
So these people, they want the kind of party that they know, personality that they know, that will
continuity, right?
Yeah, that will take care of them.
Okay.
So these three types will collide and compete, and then we will see which party will get the most vote, and then what kind of collision. Because in the end, you must have a working cabinet that reflects the wishes of the Thai people. And this time, I personally predict that there will be very high vote turnout, even with the rain.
Especially among young people.
Young people, first timer, and also others, middle ages, people who are lazy not to come out. But I think this time, because it's so exciting, you know, you have 67 party competing, and you look at the atmosphere. I was actually surprised by the dynamic of the political campaign. You know, everything every promise, goes, So I think it's very interesting whether the Thai voter, the three type of Thai voters will choose the right candidates or not.
I think there's one element that makes this upcoming election more exciting than before, and too many people that offer some hope of change in the post-election scenario. That is the presence of the Move Forward, the Cao Klai party, right? The party that has struck the right chord among young people. But of course, to critics, the party is seen as being too radical, too anti-establishment. Do we have similar parties in other ASEAN countries? Something that have been seen as radical and anti-establishment as the Cao Klai party?
Well, they are a party with young people, but not the party with young people with extreme progressive idea. So I think that's only Thailand. In Singapore, you have young party with young people with idea that is the opposite of the government. In the case of Thailand, Move Forward Party is very unique, and actually it tells a lot about the state of Thai politics, what young people want and what concerns them. So it's very unique.
So in Thailand, this upcoming election is being seen as a clash between the liberals and the conservatives, right? But how is it being seen from outside Thailand, countries in ASEAN that you have traveled to quite often in recent months?
I think there are differences between the Western world that want to see Thailand democratize further. And then you have the country which are our colleagues, which share several political similarities and quality. So the West, when they look at us, they want to see the more progressive element win the election, so that they will see a new pattern, so that the new political leader will come in, will reign. Otherwise, they tend to deal Thai politics as the dynasty, the continuations of the what they call dynastic politics. From, as you can see, families, members, first generation, second generation, now third generation also enter politics. So I think in that sense, Cao Klai was fresh air in Thai politics and also within the Southeast Asian politics.
But how do you think the election is being covered by regional media so far?
I think so far has been very broad. I think it depends who speak. It depends who can create interesting headline. Certain people are very media savvy. They can say things and then immediately journalists thought of the headline immediately. And that's the most important. And I think the Thai people or potential voter must remind that these promises are empty until proved wrong. That's the most important. But in a way, it's very interesting to see how political party perceive what the voters want.
We know that the foreign policy is a non-vote getter in Thai politics or anywhere else, right? But are you surprised that despite the fact that there is a crisis going on next door in Myanmar, right? And then we have escalating rivalry between the US and China, and which has a ripple effect on the rest of the world, including countries in the region. And that you have a war raging in Ukraine. And yet these issues have not been mentioned seriously in any election campaign.
Well, it's understandable because Thai political party talk about bread and butter issue only. Because whatever issue that you just mentioned have certainly direct impact, but not immediate. So the situation in Myanmar, that explains why, because of Thai policy of protecting the frontier in a way that to make sure that there is no influx, maintain good relation on the opposite side. So you keep the stability within the country. We have learned from decades of dealing with war in the neighboring countries and the influx of the refugee in the 70s.
Yeah.
And in dealing with the major power, Thailand has been an independent country because it has been able to keep balance of power and hedging with all major powers since Rama V, and long before that in various forms. So I think foreign policy at the moment for political party is not a vote getter. So it's much better to talk butter and blade and immediate deliverable promise and things that will benefit them, especially extra crash.
No, but whether you like it or not, the crisis in Myanmar will continue to be a major challenge for the next administration, right? So you have any suggestion for the next government on how to handle the situation? Because the present government has been heavily criticized for being too passive, and to some critics is even being seen as being pro-military junta in Myanmar. So what do you think, how this issue will challenge the next administration?
Myanmar issue will remain and will continue to be priority for the next government. And there are two important aspects of the Myanmar issue which Thai people or international community tend to forget. That is the Myanmar dilemma within Thailand. Thailand have 6 to 7 million migrant workers and only 2.3 of them register. The rest are just illegal, are running around, not to mention another 50,000 Rohingya. We have to keep these people happy, make sure that the social safety net is secure. That's number one. And we have done that. And nobody talk about it. Number two, we have to make sure that the crisis in Myanmar will not cross the border into Thailand. That's why we have to help Myanmar, not only our neighboring country, but as a member of ASEAN country. And the most important for the new government, make sure that Myanmar crisis will not become another proxy war for great powers. Because great power tends to find a loophole and vacuum where they can fit in, and take over whatever advantage.
Now, compared to some other ASEAN countries, Thailand has been seen as being less outspoken on the issue of the crisis in Myanmar, and it has been practicing what is described as quiet diplomacy. Do you think that is something that suits Thailand?
Well, I think it suits Thailand. Quiet diplomacy doesn't mean silent diplomacy. And I think Thailand speak when it's is necessary. I think that is good. A lot of countries talk a lot, but without any action. And I think the most important thing is that whatever you say, especially in Thailand regarding Myanmar, will have impact immediately along the border within the community of Myanmar within Thailand. So I think these are the dual dilemma that Thailand has to face. The Myanmar dilemma within Thailand and Myanmar dilemma in Myanmar.
Of course, we admit that the foreign policy is not a vote getter. But if Kun Prayut has to boast about some success he has in this particular field, what would be his claims to success?
Well, I would point out three. And number one, he has been able to keep the balance in this very complicated geopolitical landscape. Okay, not only with the U.S., not only with China, but also with Europe. We have signed strategic cooperation with America. He met with Xi Jinping, and we also met with one of the most powerful EU member, Macron, who came to Thailand as a guest of Thai host. So that's number one. Number two, I think one of the most remarkable has been the normalization with Saudi Arabia. For 32 years, I would say 33 years, this relation has been frozen. Thailand has removed the last barrier for Thailand good relation with the Arab world. Now Thailand relations with 27 Arab worlds were excellent. You know, you name any Arab world, Thailand has excellent relation. And number three, of course, there are immediate issue related to the air pollution 2.5, all this, and I think they have taken this up.
Okay.
And I think this is very important, not to mention other things that had been done over the time during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So if these are successes, as you just mentioned, but why haven't Thai people, most of them anyway, heard about them?
Well, I think one biggest failure of this government is that I think it lacked a strategy to communicate with the public. The Thai bureaucrat think that if you do something good, something fruitful, you don't have to brag about it. People will know. But I think in certain cases, it's very important to have a good continuous strategy to inform the public what the government has done, what is the biggest challenge. I like to give you one example. Singapore is a country that have a very effective communication strategy with the people, with its citizens, explain all the time challenges. The Thai, they think that because of the media, we have a lot of media experts, you know, who come up with their own analysis, you know, tons of them. That lead to a lot of conspiracy theory. And that's the problem, because we have overwhelmed information and nobody screen out the so-called facts and data. So it's all matched up, and that make Thai public confusing.
All right, final questions. I think another major challenge awaiting the next administration of Thailand is the rivalry, the geopolitical rivalry between the US and China. Of course, I mean, we have been repeatedly told by both countries that they are not forcing us to take sides. But in practice, I think we have exactly that kind of feeling, being forced to take sides. But so how do you think the new administration should handle this challenge?
Well, I think the best approach is to look at the issues. Issue-wise is the most important. If the issue involves our national interest, I think we would support any issue that will protect our national interest. So it would be a very complicated process, especially when the rivalry of the US and China intensify. So I think the new administration need the kind of foreign minister who have done their homework well, the whole team, and then think it over thoroughly and do not just say things, you know, immediately. So I think it's important to do it that way.
So that also means that we need a leader, either old or new, who is not only able to deal with domestic issues effectively, but also be in a position to lead Thailand to play a more active role in the region, right?
Oh, definitely. Being Thai already, because Thailand is already a pivot of Southeast Asia. Whatever Thailand is doing, you know, is pivotal for the region. That is why there are a lot of criticism within Thailand saying that Thailand has to be more active. I think Thailand know its capacity very well. And if you want my prediction, I think the upcoming election and the outcome will lead to a more active Thailand that want to see a more stable, prosperous ASEAN region. And of course, if we can contribute and bridge the major power to make them cooperate, because Thailand always have some proposal to bring together the Chinese and the Americans together.
Okay, thank you very much, Kavi.
Well, thank you, Kun Thepchai.